Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Welcome into the Fantasy Addicts Fantasy Football Podcast. We are streaming live on Twitch.
We'll do it live!
I am your host, Mike the Fantasy Addict, joined by co-host Nikki B.
That is me.
And we are ready to talk some fantasy football with you tonight.
I'm ready.
All right, training camp's kicking off, so we got some news coming out. Finally, the wait is over for just the news-starved fantasy community. We've got some headlines that we'll go over. Tonight, just a little preview, we're going to be talking about running backs. We're going to be examining NFL draft capital for every starting running back. I looked them up. We'll break down how many went in the first round of the NFL draft, second, and so on, to get a feel. For you dynasty players, we've talked about how important that NFL draft capital is for running backs and how basically if you're taken after the third round of the NFL draft, the hopes are bleak. And I was just wondering how much of that is true for the running backs that we've got right now. So we'll talk about it. Also want to talk about the running back Deadzone, which is a new theory that's been floating around a little bit. So maybe you've heard that term. Just talking about kind of in your fantasy redraft leagues, that area where running backs that you take tend to underachieve as in relation to where they're taken. All right, so let's jump into the news first.
What do you want first?
Let's talk about it. Let's just jump right to the cheese.
Just get the elephant out of the room right
the
out of the gate.
elephant in the room.
All right.
Here we go. Green Bay Packers.
I love cheese! I love cheese! I love cheese!
You've all been waiting.
Yeah.
And Willie won't he. The wait is over. And it's, again, not everything is completely wrapped up with a nice little bow.
Are you sure?
Everybody's favorite cheesehead, Aaron.
You done messed up, Aaron!
He didn't mess up your hopes and dreams. He reported to camp in what? How would you describe his outfit, Nick?
Vibrant.
I would, again, the word that came to mind was putz. What a putz. Just like this. How old is Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is too old for the outfit he was wearing. I like
Old
The
enough to
Office. He had an
party.
office shirt. Yes.
All right, so I've been watching mowing videos on YouTube because that's the stage I'm at in my life.
Lawn
apparently.
mowing?
Yes, lawn mowing.
Okay,
videos.
not a double entendre, not a pun. Just actual men mowing the lawn with lawn
Well, they
mowers.
go way in depth with the lawn mowing
Okay.
and treatments and
I
whatnot.
enjoy mowing the lawns.
So there's a guy in there, and he's from Utah, and he's got the slick back, mullet. Marcio with the first. Welcome in. He got
Hey.
a slick back mullet and has the same shades that Aaron Rodgers rolled into camp with. So they're rocking them. It's Eastbound and Down. It's basically his sunglasses.
There you go.
Did you watch Eastbound and Down?
I watched a little bit of Eastbound and Down. Kenny Powers, right?
Kenny Powers. That's right.
There's some quotes that we can't throw out
Those
here.
are the
but
Kenny Powers sunglasses.
Kenny Powers.
Marcio says sick lights. Thanks, bro.
Nick got them.
Yeah.
Watching mowing videos and buying lighting.
That's what I do.
Hobbies.
That's what I do.
Oh, it could be worse.
Yeah, we could have just no lights, but
That's
be
pretty neat.
way less fun. Way less fun.
All
All
right.
right,
You can judge a podcast, the quality of a podcast, by how many lights it has.
100%.
The lights to
That's
viewer
what
ratio.
gets views.
Absolutely.
Nick does not have a job, so stop buying stuff.
This is his job
Hey,
now.
Chat needs to pipe down a little
Full-time
bit, all right?
professional
I
podcaster.
feel attacked.
Nikki B.
Feel attacked. Aaron Rodgers. We were calling. What was the lowest percentage we gave? I think I gave like an 80% was the lowest I went on his
We were both
chances of returning.
We both believe that there was a pretty high likelihood that he would be back. Again, I just didn't think he had a lot of leverage for this year. Next year could be a totally different story, so we'll see how things shake out. And one of the interesting pieces of this story is that apparently one of the things that they did to make Aaron happy was they're going to try and trade and get his old buddy Randall Cobb back.
Not try. They did.
Yeah, that wasn't
Is
quite
it official?
But we're gonna figure it out.
Yep.
And the way that I look at it is I've got toddler, and you'll have that fight where she's throwing a fit and she wants to eat like a whole cake for dinner. And you're like, no, you can't. You fight. And finally you're like, all right, I'll let you have an M&M if you can be calm, sit down and eat your regular dinner. And that Randall Cobb is the M&M. Just a small concession that doesn't make that much difference. Okay, we'll let you feel like you win by trading. Do you have the details of that trade?
I don't have the details.
Okay.
Of it. Nope.
I thought it was
sold.
still in the works, and I just saw that it
TBD.
was likely to go through because why wouldn't the Texans trade away Randall Cobb right now?
Yeah. Do the Texans even know what they're doing?
They have no idea. However, speaking of the Texans, who just, you know why they can get rid of Randall Cobb is because they got a trade from our team.
The Bears.
And Anthony Miller, just disappointment
See ya.
for the Chicago Bears, out of town, heading to the Texans.
Did that trade spur the trade that got Rodgers back in Green Bay?
That is a very Bearsy, thing to do, where you just the unintended consequences. Nick's got Bakhtiari's picture pulled up. Crazy eyes, Bakhtiari.
It's just there all the time.
Probably with the second best beer chug an NFL player has done at another
Sources tell
sporting
me
event.
Randall Cobb back to the Packers is a done deal announcement coming soon. according to
Okay,
Chris
so
Stockman.
that's not an official, but it's about as close to official as you can get.
Yep.
So Cobb, in Dynasty, Cobb is 30 years old, going back to the Packers. Aaron wanted him, named him. And
Cobb wasn't even that good last time.
I
he
know
was with
he's on the
Packers.
waivers in our league. Did not get picked up today when they ran. With this news coming out, it wouldn't shock
Somebody will
me
pick him
if
up.
some team was with some room. I'm not dropping guys like James White or like that. Some.
So is the big loser then Blake Bortles? I mean,
Well, Blake
back,
Bortles was cut from the team.
back to despair.
So let's see if we can find my Blake drop.
How long
Do you
was
want to go to war, Balaki?
Sorry, I don't have to use the Blake
Sorry.
Bortles drop all that often.
That needs to be ready to go.
You messed up Balaki, and now it's Aaron back in the driver's seat.
Man.
So if you were hoping for that, maybe you grabbed Love in a super flex or something, you're gonna have to wait on him a little bit longer. Still hold on to him though. You got a little glimpse of kind of.
So does Jordy Nelson come back too then? Is that a thing that will
He
happen?
probably would. They're just trying to pull a Tampa Bay and get all
Right.
the old guys to just come back and rejoin and
Yep.
get the band back together.
The band that didn't win anything?
Yeah, that's interesting. It does make it, just out of curiosity, I wonder how much Cobb being let go by the team anger. I'm just going to do lots of hand symbols. How much that was part of what made him upset was maybe he didn't want him to get. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we're not privy to that just a lot of curiosity. But him showing up looks like he's going to play. Also, that, there was a little kind of snippet about Devontae Adams kind of shutting down communications for an extension. Sounds like now he's, Aaron coming back, just telling everybody to relax. That just has helped out the whole team
all right.
situation.
Other news.
Hate to see it as a Bears fan, but good for fantasy if you were holding on to some of those high-level assets, Aaron Jones.
Maybe you want to revisit that Aaron Jones trade again then?
Not anymore now that Hopkins is going to opt out because he's too upset about the COVID harsh rules.
Not
Man,
gonna happen.
no, I think he'll play, but still gives you a little bit of
Logan Thomas extended for Washington. I mean, are you super hype on Logan Thomas at
No,
all?
I'm out on Logan Thomas. Curtis Samuel, I did see popped up with a groin injury, so if you were high on him as a sleeper, doesn't ruin him. It should be cleared up by the time the season rolls around. However, some of those soft tissue things can linger, get re-aggravated. He will miss some time in the training camp, and he's a new guy on that team, so just worth noting.
So this is part of that Cobb trade. Source said Randall Cobb trade is contingent on whether Packers can renegotiate his salary. 8.25.
You would think that to get out of the Texans,
whatever you want.
I'll pay you $50 to just take me out of here.
So they can't.
So go high. Good to see you.
They can't pay for the full salary. So we'll see how that comes.
All
comes to
right.
fruition. Let's see here. I mean, a lot of vaccination news. I mean, we don't really have to cover most of that.
We'll leave most of that alone.
Yeah.
We'll see who
Just
shows up,
mostly
who doesn't.
Beasel's just
The big names are Hopkins, kind of just expressed some concerns about his future. I think that'll get smoothed over. But again, worth noting. Protect Ron. Hey, I get that. We're rooting for Ron, battling the cancers. So hope he whoops it. Other notes, the Bears, just Bears news. Since this is a Bears show, and all we do is talk about the Bears. That's
what we do.
The Bears do what the Bears do best, and they signed another tight end. Jesse James, tight end.
Why not?
He was on the Steelers, I think, last year, the Lions, so moves from the Lions. They
If you're going to
just
sign any, at least it's Jesse James.
signed him from the Lions just to get all their secrets to their high-powered offense that's coming down the pipe.
Yep.
Apparently, he wasn't biting enough kneecaps, but fun fact, my wife, her family actually related to the outlaw Jesse James, the cowboy from Days Gone By.
Did you ever figure out what?
No, I didn't get the full breakdown of the family tree of how, but that's not one you'd make up and
not
just say,
buying it.
hey,
I'm not
I'll try and get
buying
you a
it.
full report later, but
Let's see here.
Is that the name you would pick if you were just lying about someone you were related to in history?
Pretty much. Garoppolo's named the starter supposedly over Trey Lance. Sure.
Yeah, kind of like the Red Rifle is the starter over Justin Fields. But there were some good reports about Justin Fields coming in prepared, knowing the playbook, things like that, which you like to see. However, if you were planning on going Fields or Lance as your QB right out the gate, might want to have a guy to start the season.
Backup
One that I've heard floated. I'm not big on him. I don't like Cam, but some people are saying maybe you grab Cam to start the year, and then as he's getting replaced by Mac Jones, then maybe those other guys are ready. That's an interesting one.
Did you guys just see my dog just sneak in here?
Yep, dog loves
just
the
open
show.
the door,
Big fan of the show.
sneaking in.
Charlie,
what are you doing? Come on, man. All right, it's a pet stream. Let's see here. In the chat, Sogo, did the Aaron Rodgers bashing start yet? We
You done messed up, A-Ron!
we bashed the style.
bashed
We
it
bashed him
already.
because he's old.
It's over.
No.
Let's see.
Big news,
Marcy
though.
defended his honor. Why are you still defending the man? I don't even know. I don't think Packers fans like Aaron Rodgers anymore, but they feel like they have to defend.
I so very much hope he comes back and is terrible after all this. And just Jordan Love comes in, knowing the Packers' history, he'll be the next Favre, next Rodgers, just in that line of quarterbacks and be great and crush the Bears' spirit. But in a way, I just love to see bad things happen to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. This is still the sweet spot where like Bears fans are living on a high.
We're hoping.
The season hasn't started yet. We can't be losing.
It's a
yet.
cycle. It's a cycle. You just get hyped about the new quarterback. They underachieve. You think, oh, the Packers are done. They're having problems.
And about week 4, you're like,
they come back. They've got it
they
together.
are who we thought they were.
Classic.
Yeah.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
Bring Bortles back. Oh no, don't start that one.
The board. They full aborted the
Xavier Howard says he's requested a trade.
Yeah, so cornerback. He's probably the best cornerback on that team. I think he's on a 4-year contract that they recently renegotiated. I don't think he's got a lot of leverage, but if you're, those DSTs, I have Miami. I'm pretty high on them. They got a young team. They spent a fair amount of draft picks because they had 1 million picks on that defense. They're kind of ascending last year, so if you're getting to the end and there's just a team hanging out, I like the Dolphins' defense, but that'll make a difference whether he's there or not.
Did I say OBJ is cleared to play?
Yeah.
There's growing concern over Saquon, and I mean we didn't talk about it yet, but Michael Thomas, that could be a long-term injury.
Let's go
as
ahead
well.
and jump to that because that's big news. Michael Thomas going to miss multiple weeks. I've heard as many as 12. The reports don't sound again. The
original number was
like
4 to
4,
5,
and
but
I think it's.
There has been reports posted that type of injury and what it sounds like that injury is, like, it doesn't just go away quickly.
Definitely. I want to say it was like the deltoid ligament.
And the other stupid thing is, I don't know if you heard this part about it, but he went to the doctor. They said, come back in a month for a re-eval to see if it's healing correctly. And he just never went to the re-eval. And then all of a sudden it's 3 months later. And
there's been
it's all screwy.
some questionable Michael Thomas stuff coming out last year and this year. And
he's undraftable.
If you watched our last episode,
way late.
We shared with you that there's a league mate of ours, Ethan, who is cursed. His team is cursed. His players always get hurt or awful things happen to them. And we said, so be careful of Michael Thomas, and the other one is Derrick Henry. So Thomas goes down.
Just
Henry,
wait.
he's old. He's got miles on him. And I liked Henry a lot, but I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious, as Michael Scott would say. And I am concerned about Derrick Henry just because of the curse. So,
Pocket, welcome in. Says Saints will be out of the playoff contention by that time. By the time he's ready to come back, anyway, he will sit all year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is kind of like some of the other running backs, Joe Mixon and Christian McCaffrey last year, because their team wasn't really fighting.
You don't trust
for anything.
Winston?
I think it really hurts Winston. So I was projecting Winston would be the starter, but now I could see they don't have. It's probably the worst wide receiving core in the NFL right now as it sits, and Jameis is known for throwing picks, and if he's got guys that can't create,
you trying to get Traquan, or
I think
are you trying to get anybody?
I think that Taysom, it really helps the chances that Taysom Hill is the quarterback to start this season. Not to say he doesn't go out there and look awful with no wide receivers.
Taysom isn't playing.
Yeah, I think Kamara is a good volume play, but that team's offense, you have to give a pretty major downgrade just because of Michael Thomas not being there. And I give him a downgrade just as far as kind of their explosiveness and opportunity and needing to play catch up if it's Taysom, because I think it's going to be more small ball running and bouncing and less airing it out and scoring a million.
I'm worried about that. I'm worried about the Saquon news as well. It doesn't sound like the Saquon stuff is.
Yeah.
It seems lingering as well.
They've kind of asked him, is he going to, be at training camp? They got him on the PUP right now, I believe. And, those injuries take time to come back from. And a lot of guys have done it a lot faster in the recent years, but doesn't necessarily mean that it happens that way every time.
Kamara will face loaded boxes all year. Honestly, he has in the past, too, and still been pretty okay.
And they use him in the receiving game. So because they have the lack of passing options now, I think Kamara is going to he's averaged about 88 targets a year, and I think that he could hit 100 targets easy. Troutman is a guy that some people are thinking. He was a rookie last year, the tight end. People are hyping him up. I could see that. I think that those are the two guys that, they might get more passing work, but I think that the overall offense will suffer.
Somebody's going to get work because
What could even out?
Launch the ball everywhere. It's just what he's going to do.
I don't know if, I'm worried
Maybe
about
the defense
Jameis.
will get more work.
Jameis, yikes. It's just, so Traquan Smith's the other guy we got to touch on. He's been one the past couple of years. I've thought maybe this is the breakout. Maybe he can establish himself as a number 2.
Yeah.
Never has. I think he had just under 40 targets last year.
But he did okay when Thomas was out.
He's got to get a bump on his opportunity, but I don't know that the talent and just putting it together. I don't know if Traquan's the guy. And good late round flyer right now, just to see how it pans out. But
yeah. Let's see here. Drew Lock seems to be getting first reps with the Broncos.
One more note.
Yep.
So that is exactly the kind of team that first week of the season, and you're just looking for waiver wire pickups. If one guy comes out, a wide receiver that's not as high, not a name that everybody knows, he might still be on the waivers, and he gets, say, 11 targets and, a touchdown, he's going to be that week 1 blow-up waiver pickup, I think. And I think you could trust it, too, to a certain extent, because anybody could establish himself. And I think if you see it in the first game, why wouldn't it kind of carry over where some things change because another guy comes back quickly or this or that?
Yeah. I think that pretty much covers most of the news. I haven't seen really anything else that is of note, really.
Yeah.
Some vaccination stuff. That's about it.
Double check.
Larry Fitzgerald, assumed, might be coming back for his 18th season.
Jets quarterback, their new signing, and toddler, Zach Wilson, sounds like he is not at training camp as of yet. He's still kind of working on the contract. The other one that was a holdout was Trey Lance. So just quarterbacks that not practicing just yet, and it's largely because of their contract situation. One of the reports we talked about was that Jimmy Garoppolo, it's his job. You wonder if they don't say that to maybe just put a little bit of pressure on Lance. It's all, you got to play the game. Bakhtiari on the PUP, so another Packers piece that he makes a big difference for that team.
Well, they had the other, what's their defensive lineman. He was having contract issues too. So I don't know. They got some other issues on the Packers roster still. All right.
So the only good thing that Rodgers has done this year is getting Randall Cobb back to Green Bay and reporting for camp. The year is very young.
Yeah.
We've only just begun. A rookie that is going to be, a topic, a guy that's going to go in the first or second rounds of rookie drafts. Kadarius Toney comes off the COVID-19 list, so he was only out for a little bit of time. It sounds like he did test positive, but is good to go. We talked about Curtis Samuel having the groin injury. Zach Ertz reports to camp, so if he's on the Eagles, that really hurts to Dallas Goedert if you were believing that he was going to have the breakout. Still not too late for him to end up somewhere else, but...
Should we cover Deshaun Watson real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. He's your dynasty quarterback.
He showed up to camp.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
Accidental Bears drop. Can never have too many. So this is Deshaun.
Is that foreshadowing?
There you go.
Reported to camp, even though he doesn't want to play the team, he's reporting to camp too. Meanwhile, he is okay with settling with all the people making these cases against him, but he wants their information out there. They don't want that, so that's still held up. Meanwhile, they're all filing reports with the police department. So it's kind of a whole mess. I don't know that we necessarily know any more than we did last week, except it's even more complicated with him showing up at camp. So NFL says they're not going to do anything for now. The dog's back. Are you drafting Deshaun Watson anywhere?
No. And again, in best ball, if you wanted to take the chance, but I think there's a real strong chance that he gets put on some kind of exempt list and doesn't play for a good chunk of this year.
So you don't believe the NFL that they're not going to do that?
The NFL said they're not going to do that?
Yeah, the NFL said they're not going to do anything until the case is resolved. until I mean, there's no really open case necessarily right now besides just the civil case. So, I mean, they said until any legal battles have come to, an end, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I don't necessarily believe that yet. I think that it could go either way. The other one that I saw, Cam Newton isn't the guy he once was. Mac Jones may be the better option. Is New England ready for the Mac attack? The Big Mac.
What was the question? I was focused on the dog.
Mac Jones over Cam Newton. Will Mac Jones start the season? It says Cam Newton isn't the guy he once was, if you were unaware.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of Cam this year. I don't want Mac Jones either. There's got to be a lot better options than either of them.
I still like Mac Jones for the receiving pieces like James White, Aguilar, guys like that, just because I think he'll throw the ball more.
Okay.
And also I like it, better for all the running backs.
I mean, that team's really just barren for any fancy relevant players. Kicker position is about it, and defense.
And here's one I just like the way the alert came across. It says Chase Edmonds bulks up while slimming down.
I saw that as well. Yeah. What the hell is that?
Hey, so he's cultivating mass. It sounds like he's trying to put on muscle while losing that belly fat. I get it. That's the goal of us all. But
I was so confused.
Chase Edmonds is a guy that we actually honestly haven't talked about a lot on this show. Neither of us are really excited about Chase.
No.
I think that James Conner coming in there, a lot of people have said they'd rather have Chase just because if Conner gets injured, then he's going to kind of slide into that the only guy in town role. However, I think that James Conner could get the goal line work, and I'm more excited about Conner of the two.
I mean, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably pick Conner, but honestly, I'm scared about the Cardinals this year.
I did hear an interesting, just kind of anecdotal statistic almost, that when you get into those later rounds and there's those two running backs that are going, like 2 or 3 rounds apart, very similar to the Chase Edmonds, James Conner, there's a pretty good hit rate for the first running back taken in the redraft to have a better year, which again makes some sense.
Yeah, I mean, because you're picking the one that's projected to have a better season.
Yeah, and it seems to consistently work out that way. It's rare that, okay, James Conner's the guy and we all had it wrong.
Honestly, and I saw this posted on Reddit this week too, and I've done this in the past, is honestly, Vegas knows. Just go look at all the Vegas lines and prop bets. When we were talking about our trade for Hopkins versus Aaron Jones, I went to the odds books and checked, hey, what does Vegas think they're going to have for the season, and compare those numbers. And then I went to the regular, ADP rankings and everything else as well. But I mean, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And really, they had Hopkins, I think 200 yards ahead, overall. But I mean, it was, it's an interesting thing, just checking the Vegas numbers on these things before making a call.
Definitely. All right, so we got a question in the chat. Oh, all right, we got.
I'll make it bigger.
Greg Nord coming in. Go Bears.
Sheezer, examples. What's your example?
So before the comment was that anytime you hear about a running back bulking up, it means they're going to get hurt. Barkley, I'm trying to think of examples.
Eddie Lacy?
I've seen a lot of the fantasy analysts I listen to, they seem to like it when wide receivers add a little bit of weight, and they seem to be against when running backs add a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
With those running backs, anytime you throw on weight, it usually does bring down your speed, which is pretty critical for those running backs. I get it because you want to be able to bash and smash, but with the way that the NFL is set up nowadays, you need that speed and explosiveness almost more than the bash and smash, unless you're Derrick Henry.
I mean,
maybe AJ
that's your,
But yeah, it's
example.
changed from the old school smash mouth, run into the line, 4
Marcy
yards.
Says,
and
Eddie Lacy got fat. Well, I mean, that's still bulking technically.
Cultivating mass.
Cultivating mass. Yeah, no, there's not a whole lot of example. Has Barkley said he's trying to get bigger?
I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I definitely know that there are.
It's mostly you see it
I have heard the theory that running backs adding weight is not what you want. I think James Conner might have fallen into that category.
Well, I think it's mostly what you hear from, college players coming into the NFL, like, hey, just trying to add some more pounds before.
Devontae Smith adding 97 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's still underweight.
That would be doubling his current weight.
Just get on the Eddie Lacy plan and get it.
Aaron Jones is the perfect specimen for modern day running back.
Yeah, so he's got that ability to catch the ball, to get outside. He works well with that offense.
Yeah.
I think A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are actually a nice complementary type of 1-2 punch.
Aaron Jones, though, is pretty big for how elusive he is. I mean, he's
a little
fun
shorter.
to watch. He's
one of the guys. So actually, that's a good transition. We're going to jump in. I'm just going to quickly run through. So there are a lot of guys on the list, as there are 32 starting running backs in the NFL. But we wanted to talk about the draft capital that was spent for each in the NFL draft. So where did this guy go in his respective year in the NFL draft?
And you're going by ADP?
No. This is not fantasy drafts. This is the actual NFL when they were drafted as rookies into the league.
And how would you rank? I mean, are you just
what round they went in?
Okay.
I didn't go, early or late. It was just what round. So I'm going to go through the list quickly. Zeke taken in the first round. Saquon first round. Two guys that are going to bust this year because they're old and injured. But after that, Najee obviously went in the first round of this past draft. ETN first. Javonte Williams, I put him as a starter over Melvin Gordon because Melvin Gordon is older. Gordon was taken in the first round of the draft. Javonte in the second. Michael Carter, if you're counting him as the starting running back of the Jets, which some people, the reports have been pretty good about him, but he actually went in the fourth round. Next, you got Akers, RIP, moment of silence, moment's over. He went in the second round. Now his backup, Henderson, who is the de facto starting running back, went in the third round of the NFL draft. Clyde Edwards-Helaire first, Swift second, Taylor second, Dobbins second, Josh Jacobs first, his B, Drake in the third, Henry in the second, Aaron Jones, the guy we were just talking about, I was surprised, went in the fifth round of the NFL draft, which I did not realize. Chase Edmonds in the fourth, James Conner in the third, Ronald Jones in the second, Leonard Fournette, the aging Leonard Fournette in the first. I went back and looked at Leonard Fournette's numbers too. Not great last year. So if you're high on Leonard, go back and maybe glance at his regular season fantasy numbers.
I don't think anybody's high on Leonard.
Christian McCaffrey, my dynasty running back in the first round, as he deserved. David Johnson in the third, Mike Davis in the fourth. Eckler was an undrafted free agent. So the only kind of pure starting running back on a team that is an undrafted free agent, there's one other guy who, James Robinson, who was undrafted. He's kind of... People are talking about, he could be. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the other one I had. It was Mostert, who, again, if you're counting him over Sermon, which I know Nick isn't.
I am not. But I knew you would.
Chris Carson went in the seventh round, the only seventh rounder. And then we've got Kamara in the third, Mixon in the second. I know it's a long list, but we're going to Chubb in the second, Hunt in the third. Damian Harris of the New England Patriots in the third. Sony Michel actually went in the first. People forget because Sony's he's fallen off, but. A team that's interesting, the Buffalo Bills, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, both in the third. Miles Sanders second, David Montgomery third. Miles the gas man, Gaskin, the gas can. Seventh round. So I was wrong. Sorry. Misspoke. Chris Carson and Gaskin. Then you got Dalvin Cook in the second, Trey Sermon in the fourth. Mostert was undrafted, and then Gibson in the third. All right, that was a lot. Let me break it down the numbers real quick for you. So how many running backs went in the first round of the NFL draft? 7. Pretty good. And those guys are kind of the upper tier guys, most of them. The second round actually had the most with 11 running backs that are currently starting running backs in the NFL going in the second round. In the third round, 6 or 7, depending if you count, some of those A-B guys where you're not sure who exactly the starter is. Fourth round, 4. Fifth round, 1. Sixth round, 0. So if the guy got drafted in the sixth round as a running back, just avoid that.
Don't even look at him.
Seventh round, we have 2. And then the undrafted free agents, we got Eckler, Mostert, and then James Robinson.
I mean, I think this proves our thoughts as we watch the NFL draft. It's like if your player, I think the wide receiver numbers are going to be pretty similar with top 3 rounds, where if your guy isn't taken in the first 3 rounds, the chances of him becoming something are slim.
Yeah, so the breakdown, 24 starting running backs, and most of them are the elite guys taken in the first 3 rounds, and 8 to 9 taken in the following rounds. And a lot of those guys took a while to establish themselves, and also they are the guys like Myles Gaskin, Mike Davis.
They're the ones that may not have a job by
on the way out, midway or next year.
For sure.
So I just like to look at that to really get a feel. We talked about how it's true, but sometimes to actually hear the numbers is enlightening.
Forget RB depth. Always go with handcuffs instead, says Sheezer. I hate handcuffing people. I mean, would.
That's a great transition. We'll go through the rest of the comments, but that's a great transition into the running back dead zone we'll talk about. But let's go through the rest of the
Pog
comments.
says Mike did like 10 minutes of research before the show. I'm impressed.
I had a lunch break, so no, I looked up some stuff.
Even printed the papers out. Hand wrote.
Yeah,
Hand wrote. He
these are-
doesn't own a printer, I don't think.
These are real notes.
Yeah. They're
If you want to be a genius,
yeah.
you got to learn how to write.
It says bring notes at the top of it. Just so he doesn't
This is
forget.
just Nick's lunch order.
That's pretty much true. All right.
So here we go. Let's talk about the running back dead zone. So
do
this is, again, something that I've been coming across on a couple different shows that I like to listen to, and they dove into the numbers.
Matt Patricia. More like Matt
Basically,
Patricia.
the running backs that you take in the first and second round tend to return the value. So kind of they assign everybody a value as to where you take them in the NFL draft. Obviously, your top first round picks, they need to return the most amount of fantasy points.
Yes.
So first and second round running backs would tend to work out in that. However, after that, running backs taken in rounds 3 through 6, I believe this was a 12-team redraft league.
And this is back to a regular fantasy draft.
Yeah, they did not return their value. So you would take them, and a lot of them underachieved in relation to where they were taken, whereas wide receivers tend to return, if not improve upon the value that they were taken at in those 3 to 6 rounds. So we don't really necessarily say that you should just have, go in where you're definitely taking running back, wide receiver, and then revisiting running backs. But what the data bears out is if you're trying to find a strategy, that's one that has had kind of historically been the pattern to go. That doesn't take into account if you want to reach for one of those high-level tight ends like Travis Kelce. Doesn't take into account if you wanted to try and grab one of those top, 3-4 quarterbacks in the get those guys in the kind of the 5th, 6th round, the Dak Prescott's, Kyler Murray type guys. But if you're just going with kind of the tried and true running backs, then wide receivers, wait on your quarterbacks and tight ends, it was just interesting to hear that breakdown. And it is very true of the drafts as they are going now. If you look at the mock drafts now, a lot of mock drafts have at least 10 running backs going off in the first round. And that is consistent with kind of the data that we've seen. Second round, you're getting more like 5, 6, 7 running backs to go off, and then it drops down to about 2 to 4 running backs in each subsequent round.
I think you can almost see it baked into like the Fantasy Pros ADPs right now. You got Miles Sanders at 36, so still in your first 3-round limit there in 12-team. And the next running back off the board is until 49. So you got, let's see, you got 13 picks, a whole round in between where no running backs are taken, where in the rounds before you had 20 of 36 running backs taken. So, I mean, that's kind of an anomaly right there, built in where right when you split that gap, you go to your next running back is Kareem Hunt, who's in a running back by committee, James Robinson, running back by committee. So essentially you have 20 starting running backs that have a majority of the job and work share.
You get into that kind of high level running back, 1A, 1B, the B running back guys there. And then even after that, there's about 4 before a steep drop off to handcuffs and some of those kind of gimmicky scat back type running backs. All right, back to the chat. We got Mike looks like Belichick with the notepad.
Bill Belichick.
We're on to Cincinnati.
And apparently that makes me Brady, which I'm okay with in this scenario. More like McCarthy with open Sharpie marking the back of his neck. Sounds about right. Heath,
I am no McCarthy, man.
Heath, I'll say it again. Always go for the handcuffs. Does you know good to have 4 or 5 RBs sitting on your team? Depth at wide receiver is far more important.
So the thing that is nice about some running back depth is, in my experience, especially last year as a case study, much tougher to find a running back to replace your running back were they to go down. There's a smaller pool of running backs that you can really use, especially if you want to compete for a championship. And it's tough to trade for them.
And you see it time and time again. Like Green Bay, let's say Aaron Jones goes out this year. A.J. Dillon may get a majority of the work, but it's unlikely. I bet they bring somebody in to take over the first and second downs, and Aaron Jones is the plot, or A.J. Dillon the plotter. I don't think there's all these known assets of, if you have the 1A, 1B guy where one's bigger and one's a little bit more elusive, then if your elusive guy gets hurt, you bring in another elusive guy. You don't just have your plotter run 3 downs, all the time. So I think it's hard to predict those backup spots. And even when you do, you got Dalvin Cook and what's his backup's name?
Alexander Madison.
Alexander Madison.
Decent in relief, but had one one game you hope for big things that he did underachieve.
The game he is in there. He's going to be the guy. This is the reason you had him rostered, and he does
Pocket
nothing.
makes a good point. Again, easier to stream wide receivers. If you think about it, there's like 20 elite running backs that you can probably win a championship with, and there's probably about 40 wide receivers that you can go out and grab. And also, the opportunity for a backup running back when the starter's there to blow up, like, that's a lot lower than a second or third wide receiver on a team having just that by chance big game where he gets a long touchdown.
Let's see. Sorry, in PBR, I haven't seen a champion with weak wide receivers, just saying. No, I think you need good wide receivers, but I think also the game is changing in the fact that you need more boom potential, and you're just going to have to deal with the bust weeks. I think there's so many players now that can give you those super high weeks and then more weeks that they'll not get you anything, that you're going to have to cover some losses that way with your wide receiver group. You need your running backs to be consistent high point getters.
Yeah. So we've got the average draft position pulled up. Let's scroll down a little bit, get down to kind of the 80 range. So give me a running back in that range.
Ronald Jones.
Oh, even farther, because Ronald Jones is still a great running back. He's going to be phenomenal.
That's RB 31.
Keep going. Farther, lower.
Right, AJ Dillon at 100.
Lower than Dillon, lower than Moss.
Why are we going so far down?
All right, we're going to go
Tony Pollard, 126.
All right, so Tony Pollard, you're getting into that
Jamal
handcuff.
Williams, 127.
Yep. So let's see what kind of wide receivers are in this range. So probably it's still down here. You could
Marvin
get a guy.
Jones.
Marvin Jones could have
Williams.
some fantasy value and be usable.
You got let's see, Corey Davis, which is
Corey
an interesting
Davis
one
could
here.
be the number one wide receiver on his team
Henry
for the Jets.
Ruggs.
They just paid him. Henry Ruggs has some upside. He disappointed you last year. So like, just the guys you can get later in this round have so much more potential and upside than the running backs that are going later.
Facts, Marcy. Facts.
But with the running back dead zone theory, it does say that after those rounds of 3 through 6, which you should have loaded up on high-level wide receivers, then you revisit running backs and you grab a guy like Damian Harris, you grab a guy like Ronald Jones when I was doing the mock drafts. Those are some guys that are still available that have that upside that can get you through if your guy misses a little bit of time.
I'm almost thinking it's more built in that these are the guys that are maybe stealing the jobs from the starters later on. Not necessarily just a handcuff.
The Shizer bashing my Bears shirt.
I know.
Everybody loves the Bears. They're going to be great this year. They're going to beat the Packers because they're falling apart and don't like each other and don't want to play for Green Bay.
Here's a scenario where I could see the reason why there's the dead
shiny
zone.
penny.
Rashad Penny, right? Chris Carson goes down, which you will, and then Rashad Penny comes in and
goes down as he will.
Exactly.
Then you grab DJ Dallas.
Exactly, but like that's the type of situation where I'm okay. He's not really.
Rashad Penny is an interesting late round flyer if you need a guy for some depth at running back. He should get on the field. His health is a big question mark. As of right now, it seems like he's all right. But there's still some usable guys. Again, I still think if Mac Jones comes in, James White's going to be a guy that you should pick up. He'll probably be out there because Mac Jones is not going to be rushing the ball like Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Tariq Cohen, I think Cohen's the worst. I don't.
Cohen sucks.
Andy knows from the footballers. Let's hear it one more time, Andy.
Cohen sucks.
Yeah, he just does. But somebody will pick up Cohen one of these weeks when he comes out there and catches one ball.
Mike Stay as a follower, also a Bears fan, so we're outnumbered.
Yeah, we got a lot.
There's a lot of Packers fans here too.
Yeah, we're streaming out of Rockford,
Is
Illinois.
Bambo in here as well?
Just a stone's throw away from Chicago itself. But we welcome all.
We're closer to Wisconsin than we are Chicago, though.
Yeah. No, honestly, it's fun to get the other people in the division. Lions fan Paul, we're waiting for you to come back. Yep, where's Lions fan Paul?
There he is.
We'd love to have him. We'll welcome everybody in the Discord. We get spicy, just bashing the Packers fans.
I'm looking at these running
We'll
backs
laugh at
here.
us when we lose in the season.
I don't want to have to rely on any of these guys.
No, not Philip Lindsay.
Not ever. I think this is just decided that we're just going running back to start. It's just a mandatory thing. Banjo, go Bears. Thank you.
The Bears.
Thank you. Hey Banjo. There you go.
Yeah.
We have like a personal greeter. I like it.
There you go.
It's like Walmart in here.
You don't get that level of service on every stream. So.
No, not at all.
Jamar Chase going at 56. Yeah.
Yeah. ETN you can still get at 60.
ETN is one that I think could be a league winner where he's going now. If he falls this far in drafts, if you're playing with people that are less paying attention, you'll know everything because you watch the show, but maybe you're playing in a family league or with some coworkers. Take their money, crush their souls, take ETN, grab them late. that is one guy going in the dead zone. The other guy who's going in the third round that I like is I still think David Montgomery's got a lot of upside. I think he should get work on that team. Justin Fields, if he ignites the offense, which we're hoping, fingers crossed.
Oh, he's got to. We got to fully believe.
Then it's like 20 touchdowns for David Montgomery.
So, Heath, if you're still in here with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Are you hitching to any of those ships right now? I mean, I just
hitching
don't.
your wagon to their star?
Are you taking both of them? You got 1A, 1B. You got the backup.
Oh, no. Marcy is asking for Pocket to flame her in the chat. We'll leave that alone.
Yep, for sure.
That's a low bar, Marcy. You are cashier level. All right.
Oh man, now she's never gonna watch this again.
Well, let's see if we got something for any word on Young Ho's car.
No reports as of yet.
I have not seen it returned yet, nor the cleats, the lucky cleats. So start to fade him when you're taking kickers. Go for the blanket ship. Respects the specs.
He says, take both because by the time you make the playoffs, one will stand out. Okay. If you're already counting one of them is gone, would you rather have Javonte and Melvin Gordon or Javonte and T. Higgins or Chase Claypool?
So where Javonte's going,
OBJ?
hopefully you can get through the start of the year with some other running backs. I don't like taking both. I think Javonte will take it over sooner than later. But the perfect comp, I think, is J.K. Dobbins last year with Mark Ingram on the team. Ingram was getting older. He still had some juice. He played. He started to fade out. And then by the end of it, it was pretty much the Dobbins show. I think it's going to be that kind of arc with Williams. It might take him longer to take over Gordon. Gordon is a stud. Like we said, Gordon was taken in the first round of the NFL draft. He's a big guy. He's had some injuries in the past, but held up pretty decently last year.
But this is last year of relevancy. Do you think he makes it?
I'm not counting on Javonte to give me wins in
those.
those first 4 games of the season, if not 4 to 6. He's not my plan A. If he's like my running back 2, if I took a wide receiver earlier, I'm worried about getting through that first stretch of the season.
You want Javonte or Mike Davis?
I'd rather have Javonte for the upside.
Melvin or Mike Davis?
I'd rather have Mike Davis than Melvin.
So you're a Javonte believer then?
I could work in the beauty section just with the tattooed on eyebrows. Walmart beauty section. What's the
Mike's been to Walmart a lot, apparently.
You can work at Target,
Just
Marcy.
flaming everybody
You can work at Target.
Anybody in here work at Walmart?
Hey, we respect the Walmart folk, but we also
Marcy's
have
flaming in the
Rockford
chat.
Walmart, which is like, I don't even know. I don't want to bash Rockford, but Rockford Walmart is not where the A team of Walmart workers goes to work.
No, not at all.
That's all right.
The years I've done best in fantasy, I waited on RB till like rounds 5, 6, stacked at wide receiver and tight end. RB's changed so much, injuries all along. You can land a couple good starts by the end of the season when you actually need them. 3 or 4 years ago, I would have said yes, but the way the position's changing and how many people are going running back by committee, I just don't think you can get the value from running back as late as you could. And wide receivers, there's just so many wide receivers. I mean, we just got a stock of 6 pretty good wide receivers last season alone.
I want to say
there's just too many of them.
Last year in fantasy, I want to say I got 3 second place finishes and one championship. And I think the 3 I lost, I ran into a team that had like Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry, like just that team that managed to hold on, like Alvin Kamara, that team that managed to hold on to one of those stud running backs through the playoffs. But a lot do get injured. A lot you can find their replacement. You can plug them in. There are guys that emerge that you aren't expecting.
Well, I mean, I think I saw this stat before. The running backs 1 through 8 outscored the running back 15 on average weekly by 6 or 7 points. A super high bar when you compare just positional advantage. If you have a top 8 running back versus their 15 to 20 running back, I mean, you're going to score, almost a touchdown more.
It's skewed a little bit by opportunity. Like a guy like Jeff Wilson came in the 1 year that we lost to Doug in Dynasty and came on strong at the right time.
I think it was Mostert.
Was it Mostert? Sorry. So it is. There's a lot of variance. You got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to make moves. Just that running back situation at the end of the year, if you've got your guy still, I was so hopeful that Christian McCaffrey was going to come back, put on his cape, and just win me the championship in 2 leagues, and he didn't come back, and it devastated me. But it just pans out that way, and it can go different ways, different years. There's a lot of variance from one year to the other.
Pocket, I'm going to try and give you that answer. I don't know if I can go see historical ADPs, but I'm going to try.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think that and that's kind of what we're saying with that dead zone is you can get a wide receiver in the 6th round who can finish as a top 12 wide receiver. Whereas running backs, to find a running back in the 6th round that can finish as a top 12 running back is much more difficult, much less likely to occur.
Yeah, no, I agree. Pocket said, where did Diggs, Brown, Jefferson,
So
Ridley?
Diggs probably went latest of all of them. I want to say Ridley went in like the 4th.
No, Jefferson
5th
went the
round.
latest. I mean, as a rookie coming in.
That makes sense.
He had to have gone the latest. I bet it was in... Which Brown are we talking about?
I
AJ
grabbed
Brown?
Justin Jefferson off the waivers in one league and then dropped him. Ended up winning that league, but still.
Why?
He just came out. He hadn't established himself, had one decent game, had another game where he was like, okay, points, but not great.
Yeah, I can't find 2020 numbers here, but my bet on order would be AJ Brown, Diggs, Ridley, Jefferson. That's probably my
goal last year. I think
yeah.
Calvin went ahead of Diggs.
People
People were fading Diggs because they thought Josh Allen wasn't accurate. He was coming to a new team.
Yeah, it could be true.
So I think it was Brown, Ridley, Diggs, Jefferson. Jefferson being a rookie, and again, it took him a couple games where he wasn't the main guy. They weren't going to him yet to get established. So
Right.
week 4 was probably his breakout.
I can't find the old ones, unfortunately.
All right.
Perfect. All right. What else you got to talk about there?
We're on to Cincinnati.
Oh, that's Cincinnati.
So that kind of did it. Just as a quick overview on the running back dead zone. If you want to see different hand gestures, you just go ahead and send me a message in the Discord.
Get your questions in the chat. That's what we got.
No, we'll cover your questions.
Question
We'll
time.
cover news. We'll make fun of Aaron Rodgers' sunglasses. They were awful.
Yeah, Heath, were you in here when we were mocking Rodgers? I mean, what gives? You got shades like that?
There's an actor who's got like this slick back hair. He's got kind of a Eastern European accent. It's hard to describe because his roles are kind of secondary. He was the doctor in Minority Report. He was the guy who, Slippery Pete on Seinfeld, who's I need holes. And Aaron Rodgers with the grease-backed hair reminds me of that actor. So hopefully at least one of you know who I'm talking about. If Greg's in here, he'll know.
And I use in here different hand gestures, please.
All right. All thumbs up on the Fantasy Addicts.
Yeah.
Good to see you, NIU to KU.
Yeah, welcome in. Are you gonna be, we should talk about listener league.
Yeah, this is
Let's
a good
hash
time
it
to
out.
talk about it.
Heath, you want to be in listener league as well? Banjo, you got to be in it. Frogger.
No, Heath is too mean to everyone. He'll just lose us viewers.
Peter Stormare. I don't know what you're talking about. No idea.
That must have been another role from the actor that I was describing.
Gotcha. Curtis Samuel on the pup? Uh-oh. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was the groin injury.
Gotcha. All right, I got nothing else here.
So anyways, in the Discord,
Gotcha.
we'll start talking. If there are a couple people, we'll try and get messages out to you in different ways, get in contact with you about the Listener League. We'll probably have Nick be the commish. And
We're doing just standard, not super
I think
flex?
a standard redraft. I don't know. What do people think? You want super flex or you want just the redraft? We could go either way, but it won't be a dynasty. It won't be a keeper, so that when you all quit watching midway through the season, we can get new people in next year.
No super flexes pocket.
All right. We'll keep it easy. Keep it legit.
All right.
Half PPR.
3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex, 2 flex, defense, no defense, kicker, no kicker.
We'll go 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. I think we got to do kicker, even though we're pretty anti-kicker.
Let's not do kicker.
So we can get the drops in.
We can't do kicker.
Marcy needs her kicker.
Fine, we'll do kicker. How about this? 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 flex.
Ooh, 2 flex.
2 flex.
Oh, I don't know.
And then
I'll have to do a show about who should I put in my second flex spot.
yeah, that's fine.
All right, I know you wants kicker. If the people want kicker, we'll give the people what they want. Tariq Cohen will be
not enough players
not
to
able to
start,
be
Marcy.
drafted.
Cohen sucked.
We should do a vampire league is what we should do.
No. You just no auction, no vampires,
Oh, we're doing an
no
auction.
unicorns.
Can you make kickers
No
flexible?
centaurs.
Yes, you can flex any player except quarterback.
That'd be interesting because there are weeks when the kicker might be a better flex option.
Oh, man. I don't know if they'll even let me do that as a roster setting, but I'm okay with looking it up. I'm definitely okay with looking it up. So we got one quarterback, kicker, defense, no defense. I want punter points. No punter points.
Is in. Just keep it kind of standard. What most people are playing.
Fine. We're doing sleeper, right? Yes.
We'll be on
do sleeper. Max move limit, 1 per week max.
100 moves. If you
haven't played fantasy with
my gosh. I made 7 moves today in Dynasty. I picked up Randall Cobb. I dropped Randall Cobb for CJ Uzama, and then I moved CJ Uzama.
I think it's just downvote. $100, take it or leave it. Sure, I'll take the $100.
Marcy is funding the league.
Yeah, perfect. We should have started the league somewhere else, then we could switch it over to sleeper.
Yeah, we'll probably do it where you don't have to buy in. We can come up with some kind of prize, maybe throw some cash away if you're the winner. We both fully intend to win this league, so
yeah, one of us is gonna win.
Yeah,
I mean that's just
third place will get no prize whatsoever.
All right, to join the listener league, you gotta be in the Discord. I think that's a pretty fair rule. I'm gonna create the invite. All right, posted the invite. What site? Please not ESPN. No, we're gonna do it on Sleeper. We can do daily after like last year. Daily what? Daily waivers? What do you mean that link doesn't work? I just created it.
My gosh.
I just created it. Get one that works then. Fine. How many teams? 12. If we can fill 12, I don't know if we
will cap it at 12.
Who do we got? We got Pocket, Marcy. We got we got a question here from Jack Dots. Welcome in. First year fantasy, do I trade Mahomes for Pittman and Taylor?
In Dynasty, yes.
We need more information here. Are you playing Dynasty? Are you playing just regular redraft? Are you playing Superflex or just non-Superflex?
That is good. Good questions, but
we need all that information.
If it's one QB Dynasty, yeah, I think it's just easier to replace the Mahomes if you can get 2 young studs in Taylor and Pittman.
Yeah. Jack, why don't you give us that extra info, and then we'll be happy to answer. Greg, NIU, Banjo, NBA, Marcy,
Mets.
Pocket, Mets, Bears fan Paul, Ian, me and you. So we need one more.
Oh, we can find one more.
Jack says redraft. Redraft, single, I'd rather have Pittman Taylor.
Yeah, I agree. I would rather have Pittman Taylor, especially if you're not strong at tight end. It's always, Taylor should be a top running back. And as far as quarterbacks, Mahomes is nice to have on your team, but in redraft, you can stream quarterbacks. You can find another guy who's going to have.
Yeah, no, Mahomes sucks to lose, but you can find almost replacement level quarterback play on the waivers or in a cheaper trade.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with streaming the quarterback, just every week you look at the matchups, find a guy going against a soft defense who's got some upside. Guys like maybe the rookies, maybe Lawrence.
What you do is you make the trade, and then you just keep watching our show weekly.
Walk you through
and
then
we'll tell you who to stream. We'll hook you up. Ain't no thing. And Chris will do it for Tony. So
yeah, I got buddies that'll do it if we don't have a listener.
Yeah, no, we can fill some extra spots.
But again, we do want to put it out there to people that we're not familiar with.
We can almost fill it. We can almost fill it with some UGs. Maybe Jack Dots wants in. Maybe Jack Dots is going to start hanging out with us.
There you go, Jack
Dots. Hey, you see, he already followed.
Appreciate you, Jack Dots.
Welcome in. Thank you so much.
Maybe he's sandbagging everybody, and he's a pro, just a shark ready to take your.
Maybe that was a test. I think he was testing us.
Take the $100 and the Young Ho cleats that we send to the winner.
He saw Marcy and $100 and just said, I'm in. I'm going to follow.
Many a man has fallen into that trap.
First place equals Young Ho's right cleat.
There you go.
First place should be a rotating Young Ho mini helmet. Last place gets
the left one.
What? Oh, man. Is he a lefty kicker? No, I don't think he is.
We got to get him on the show. I think Pocket reached out to him to try to get him.
Did you hear back from that request to Young Ho?
Like, of all the people that we could get on this show, it's like, hello, we like you because we mispronounce your name all the time to make it sound like kind of dirty for American language. Like, I don't know where Young Ho, if he might be just from, I don't know where he's even from, if he's just American born and raised. So
let's find out.
Might have gotten it his whole life.
Didn't hear back yet.
All right. We're waiting on him. So, yeah, he sent him a letter with cutout letters from the magazine that just say, if you want to see your cleats again, respond to my message.
Oh, my goodness. South Korea. He is from Seoul, South Korea.
Too risky. All right. a.k.a. reformed former champion.
Message lead by moderator. Marcy, what happened? What happened? You're blocking comments.
Oh, he banned. No
banned. Whoa.
Too risky.
Whoa. Bring him in. What happened? Why you gotta do our boy like that?
I don't know.
Just gone. Just outed. Sorry.
No more
don't
room.
say sorry. Fix it.
Yeah.
Too risky. We'll bring you back in. This isn't how we
Sorry
treat new
about
people, Marcy.
Risky's been around.
I don't know. He's been here before. No, actually, I don't know if he has. Abuse of power says,
Yeah.
100%.
With power.
100%. Maybe Pocket's gonna be the new mod because obviously Marcy can't.
So again, just real quick, going back to Jack Dots. If it's super flex where you can start a tight end or a quarterback in the flex position, do not make that trade. Any other caveats?
I don't think so. I think you make that trade all day.
Anything outside of super flex, even dynasty, I'd probably take that trade.
I'd rather somebody besides Pittman, but even Taylor from Mahomes.
The upside of Pittman, even if he
that.
has a decent year, which he should have a decent year, you'll be able to flip Pittman for, a first if you needed
but
to.
Pittman's a throw-in. I'd still take it if it was just Taylor from Mahomes straight up.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Odds Ocho Cinco plays for the Saints this year. 0%. I did see the tweet though.
He's ready. He's ready to go. He's never lacked confidence, Ocho Cinco.
No.
Is his name still legally Ocho Cinco?
I think it is.
I hope it is.
I think it is. What have I done? Cheers, boys.
Oh, risky.
Welcome back.
Marcy
back.
couldn't take the trash talk. Like, you think
know.
you're the champion?
Yeah.
Delete.
And you know what? That was like immediate. It was
Get
just
out.
the ban hammer, no suspension, no nothing. Just you're outing.
No warning.
But should I still, because he was my first rounder. If he was your first rounder, I think you may have made a small error, and this kind of gets you out of that error.
Taking a quarterback that high, the reason that it's again, he is obviously the best quarterback. Quarterback scores the most points, so the logic's not bad. But the next 10 quarterbacks are going to score fairly close to Mahomes, whereas a running back, the top kind of elite running backs, they get taken, and then to find another one in the third round.
So Mahomes is going to score, let's say, 400 points. The 12th best quarterback, which you can probably still get, will score 350 points. So there's not that much disparity, where running back Taylor will outscore the number 15 running back by 100 points on the year, 125 points on the year.
And just for reference, last year, the number one fantasy quarterback on the year, Aaron, the Packer, returning Aaron Rodgers, he was taken in the 10th or later rounds in the majority of drafts because people were just worried about the Packers and his age. So you can find those guys later that are going to be good quarterbacks who could finish as number one.
Oh my God. This chat's weird. Pocket must have left Marcy's and didn't say goodbye. Man, just doing her like that. I mean, she banned him, so I guess it's fair.
That's all right.
Do you expect Saquon Barkley to play 14 plus games? Mike would say no.
Nah.
I was feeling okay about it.
You expect him to start the first game of the season?
No.
Okay.
So
that's already a negative for his game total.
I think this injury that he's got, from what I've read, there's people that are worried about it, which makes me more worried about it. The same kind of thing with Mixon last year. It's, there's like, hey, this injury that it seems like he actually has, that they're not saying he has, would keep him out the whole year. And sure enough,
I also think that the Giants are going to be bad. I don't think they're going to be in a position to compete. So if he gets dinged up even a little bit and just re-aggravates, there's no reason to rush him back. There's no reason to push him. And he's a young asset who they spent high draft capital on. They want to keep him around. Is Saquon in a contract year or next year? Or did they already renegotiate? We could look at that. But that makes just how much they have invested in him. He's a huge part of their offense if they're going to compete, and I don't know that they're going to be in contention this year. But their division is terrible.
Danny Dimes going to be good.
Anybody could come out of that division.
Danny freaking Dimes.
Danny's going to be trash. He's going to fumble. Fumble Anna Jones. That was the nickname.
He does not have a new contract. So he's got through next season.
Okay.
On his rookie deal. But will Dalvin Cook start 14 games? Remember his history. Dalvin Cook will start 14 games.
Dalvin's another one that you worry a little bit. I think that the upside versus it's the risk reward. So if he does play 14, you got a real good shot at being one of those contending teams. I think that because of the upside, because of his elite running back status and ability. Also, he did play all the games last year, got banged up here and there. Did he miss one or two? but the majority of games didn't have any catastrophic injuries. I think you can gamble on Dalvin as high as the second pick.
Jack Dots, I feel like you've made some mistakes here if this is your roster, and you for sure should make the Mahomes-Taylor trade. I see a couple errors here. If you're in a 10 team, then there's got to be some loaded teams.
If you're new to it, we'll run through it real quick.
Yeah.
I definitely make the Mahomes trade. Swift on a rough team, but he should get the volume. Wayne Gallman, if Saquon misses, Gallman's not on the Giants anymore. Pardon me. Where is Gallman now? He's on the 49ers?
Yeah.
We like two guys better than Gallman on the 49ers. He probably won't get a lot of play. DJ Moore has some upside.
Assuming these are standard positions, I think you can salvage this with that trade for Taylor. You should definitely pull the trigger on that.
Giants defense, if you can find any other defense, anyone in the world besides Cincinnati.
Come on. We don't have to do them like that.
But there are a lot of better defenses out there. If you got like Miami, the Browns are a good one. Tampa Bay, New England, those are probably taken. But Pittsburgh, Indy, a lot of defense is better than the Giants defense.
Over under Eckler playing 12 games this year.
Eckler's okay kicker.
Eckler, I'll take the over. I think that his injury last year was
Eckler's been working out. He's looked good on all his videos. He came back and played games without re-aggravating and missing. He didn't re-injure the same injury.
Oh my goodness. Pocket, I'm just being. I get it. Yep. That's fine.
Nick loves that.
Saving him 17 weeks of having to pay attention to that team. Okay, too honest.
That's all right.
Too honest.
Yeah, again,
I gotta stop reading these.
You gotta have a little bit of a thick skin when you're jumping in. But that's why you watch the show. That's why you go. I was terrible. I lost my first year of fantasy, and I doubled down. I said never again. And I watched everything. Started watching shows. Started reading articles.
1 through 10. What will I finish?
Started paying attention.
If you make the trade.
Also, are you in a league of other people that are new to fantasy, or are you in a league
put the over-under at 6.5.
Where you had 9 buddies who've been doing it for years, and they're like, hey, we would love to have your money. If you make that trade, I like your odds a lot better. It takes you from probably a 5% chance to a 30% chance.
You tried simply winning the league. Oh, my goodness.
But you got to dive into it. You got to do the research. You got to learn the players. That's why you watch. We won't bash you for it being new. I was trash when I started. I'm still trash.
Are you calling him trash now?
No. I said I was trash.
Yeah.
Pocket called him trash.
That's true. Pocket, just leave the poor man alone.
Oh, Jack, you'd be fine.
Oh my.
Yeah.
He just keeps doubling
now you're a subscriber. We'll get you there.
He's over 5 lucky waiver fines.
And I think it's less happen. Than yeah. Oh, you can.
Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so he's got Swift. Let's say Jonathan Taylor, DJ Moore, Mooney, Goddard. There's still hope for Goddard. Giants defense.
If you could
probably find a replacement on waivers.
And if I got Pitts, I'd be tempted to try and switch to trade Goddard if anybody's interested in him.
I feel like you're missing a lot of players here. Like
you can get better at your defense right away by changing off of the Giants. I don't know. The Giants weren't the worst in the world, but they're not inspiring.
I once started a year with Ray Rice, RG3 as my core in that special year, so everyone is trash at times. That's unlucky.
Paris Campbell, if he's out on waivers, some people.
My friends help me draft. I don't really watch football.
Will Paris Campbell finally catch more passes than Paris Hilton? I'm going to leave most of the Paris Hilton jokes alone, but Paris Campbell, it sounds like he's healthy right now, but he's been injured the last 2 years. And I worry about his health. Michael Pittman Jr. is there. People are hoping that maybe he can break out. They've got a rookie who's a deep sleeper, Mike Stachin or Straight. I've heard it said Strahan. It's not Strahan, but that's a good way to remember it. Michael Strahan, big guy who is getting a little bit of hype in the preseason.
No Paris
and T.Y. Hilton's still there.
My friends help me draft. I don't really watch football, says Jack. I think you might need some new friends.
No, again, if you
they don't really watch a ton of football.
We got you, Jack. We're going to get you there. It's my personal mission to make you a fantasy champion, if not this year, next year.
Yeah. Post and let us know who the top options are on your waiver wire.
Yeah, but if some of those, again, if Michael Pittman, I like Brian Edwards. Those are some guys that you could throw on there. Wayne Gallman, that's another piece of advice. Gallman is a running back.
Go get Trey Sermon right now.
We're not real excited about Gallman. If Trey Sermon's out there, if Michael Carter's out there,
just swap him right now.
We're throwing a lot of names at you quick, but
you can replay the VOD.
Another thing, just an easy piece of advice. If you go to like Fantasy Pros and look up average draft position or expert consensus ranking, ECR, so Fantasy Pros ECR. It'll give you a whole list of all the players and kind of show you where they're at, where the experts think they should go. And you're going to find a lot of guys above Wayne Gallman that might be out there.
Pocket. Can Wentz play, says Bear fan Paul. I'm hopeful for Wentz.
Yeah, Wentz is a guy
now
that
he's
if you wait,
definitely not going to be on the Bears.
if you wait till the very last pick of your draft to take quarterback, which, not a bad strategy. Carson Wentz has the upside, just being with a good offense, being behind a line. Wentz, there was some hype for Wentz a while back. It wasn't so long ago that people had him as kind of rated as a top 12 quarterback. The Eagles were a dumpster fire, so I like Wentz's upside. And the other thing about Wentz is if it doesn't come together in those first couple games, you can get out and you can find another guy that you can pivot to.
Right now, there's the top is some dude named Gibson and a dude named Chase. I'd pick them both up.
So Jamar Chase and Antonio Gibson? It's not going to be Antonio, is
That's
it?
what I'm guessing.
Oh,
I would take them both.
Grab those guys, drop Gallman, and
Drop Mooney.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is better than Mooney for sure.
Well, how shallow are your rosters? I feel like we're getting trolled now.
Think
how
could
many
be. Could
how many
very well
people
be.
are on your roster here? Who's that? All right. I feel like what format are you playing on? what app here? I know. I have that feeling too, NIU.
All right. Well, we're going to treat it like it was real. So maybe somebody who's new to fantasy watches.
I got a sweet little intro.
There you go. But we're still happy to have the follow, even if you're just a terrible troll.
Yeah. Hey, we got a follow out of it. It's worth it.
Awesome.
Or can we buy in, says NIU? That's the real question. If you want to make it a 12-teamer, let us know.
We got some
Let us know.
sharps out here.
That's right. Alrighty. Any final questions before we sign off for the evening? We got some Apex we got to play, right?
Yep. Thanks for coming out. We've been saying it, but it might finally happen where we start getting that league put together, and we can't wait to just crush you.
I have a lot more free time now, so I'm gonna play some New World. Cheers, boys!
All right.
Hey, whenever you want to join us for Apex, let us know, or Rocket League. Will draft order be picked prior? We'll probably do random draft order.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll just randomize it. Maybe we'll randomize it like a couple days before. And we'll do the draft like right before the season starts.
Also, again, we'll see how ambitious we want to be, but maybe we can come up with some kind of ridiculous way to draw names. Like, not obviously more ridiculous than draw names out of a hat, and we can do it on the stream.
We figured that out, Jack. After a while.
You got us, Jack. You little scamp.
Right? Do you even play fantasy football?
Hold on, let me see if I got one for this.
You blew it!
We blew it.
Yeah.
You got bamboozled.
Silly.
It
Just
is what it is.
silly.
It is what it is.
But yeah, go ahead, pick up Gibson and get Taylor and pick.
Pockets Cat can pick the draft horses banjo. I think that's a great idea.
I just paw at the screen.
I think that is a great idea. Alrighty. Well, we're going to sign off for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Even you, Jack. We had a good time. Glad people are watching. Hope everybody's getting excited for the season. What else you got to say?
Job's done.
That's about it. All right.
Have a good one.
Have a good evening,
And
everybody.
Olympics. Go USA. 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 USA.